What's up, guys? Cameron here, and with the Professional Amateurs podcast today, I am joined by one of my great teammates and a great middleweight fighter, Jaco Du Plessis.
What's up,
Welcome.
man? Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. I was really looking forward to having you on the show, especially after your very impressive win at EFC. And I really want to chat to you just about, obviously chat to you about the fight and the build up and what's next, but also get into more of your personal life. We know you are now a full-time fighter as well, and just walk through that whole experience. So you had a very impressive finish, and how was that? How was that going in there and finishing it in such an amazing fashion?
It was quite awesome, man. I didn't plan for it to happen like that. He clipped me one, and I didn't. I was like, okay, I have to regroup now. And then before I opened my eyes, the fight was finished. So.
Yeah, I must say, watching it and obviously next to the cage, you can almost see your body language also switch because he hit you with a straight, right?
Yes.
And you can see like your chin dip, your shoulders come up. You went into like a perfect base,
Yes.
and then I was still standing next to, I think, Steph or Hundred, I can't remember, but I was like, oh. Okay, no,
It's on now.
It's on now. The switch has been
for
made.
sure.
So, just in the build-up of the fight, you had a very impressive debut win with that amazing armbar, which we don't do a lot, which is also quite insane.
Haymaker.
Yeah, and then you had an opponent unfortunately pull out
Yes.
because of a brain
Scan. Yes.
abnormality. How was your mentality going into this fight, knowing, okay, well, luckily this time you actually have an opponent?
So, how can I put it? Like, I had to fight 2 times prior to this. So the one was where I had a concussion, so I had to pull out, unfortunately. And then the second one was where my opponent with the brain scans pulled out on the day of the fight. And that kind of broke me, not mentally, but just I was sad because I wanted to perform. I want to get wins beyond my name. I want to climb the ranks. And then for this fight, it happened, and I got the opponent, and all I was thinking is, please show up.
Yeah,
Please.
don't pull out,
Yeah.
please. Yeah, I can imagine. I've only in amateurs I've once pulled out myself because of injury. I was knocked out in training, and then also I had one opponent pull out. But after putting in that amount of work, obviously, and now not getting to fight, there's always that little voice inside you saying, okay, the fight is going to get cancelled again.
Yeah,
It's going to
for
get
sure.
cancelled. And I think it's very hard then to stay motivated, or to, it's hard to be excited for a fight if you don't know if it's actually going to happen.
Yes.
So, but luckily it did. So
Luckily, thankfully.
it's very cool. And now you're 2-0 as a professional. Who do you think you'll be able? Who would you like to fight if you're looking at the middleweight division, especially in the EFC now? It's quite weird because, in my opinion, it's quite open. Even like the champion
Yeah, for sure.
is there's still a big asterisk next to that name. So who would you like to face next if you had to choose?
Okay, so ironically, I already have an opponent for my
Okay.
next fight, but I'm not going to name him yet because we didn't sign any contracts or anything like that. But that opponent is definitely on my top list. And
Okay.
then after him, definitely Luke Michael, Tracer Pupanga, the
Yeah,
top of
the
the
top
food
guys.
chains.
Yeah.
I'm excited to test myself against them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's very cool to hear as well, because then I'm guessing the person you're gonna fight now is gonna give you that number one contender type of spot.
I think so, yes. I feel so. I think so. There's a lot
Yeah.
of hype behind him. So,
Yeah.
let's
Okay,
hope.
that's good. Yeah, and also after your last fight, it's hard not to give you a big name
Yes,
in
yes,
that
for sure.
division. So that is very interesting. I also want to chat to you about. Okay, so you were. Firstly, I would just want to chat to you about what you have done previously before being a full-time fighter, and then also just chat to you about the transition of going into fighting full-time, and how has that impacted your, not only your career but also your personal life? Because I think it's very hard juggling both a job and a professional career.
Yes, for sure.
And then also like transitioning into just having a professional career is also quite a hard thing for most. So yeah, just chat to us about what you've done before.
Okay, so I was a bodyguard. I was in the security industry. I've been doing it for 5 years, and like you said, I've been juggling the work with the training. And if you're a bodyguard, you go where the client goes. So sometimes it's long hours, early mornings, late nights, and then to train on top of that, it's not really beneficial. I think you're doing more harm to your body than anything else. And then I got called up to the pro team. I still had my job, and it was tough juggling the two.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, or not for some reason, there was reasons behind it, but I stopped working where I worked.
Yeah.
And it was a tough time because I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. I was obviously in my head fighting, yes, but there's still that thing in your head from where do I get the financial security that I
Yes.
had, and how am I going to support my family? And things just worked out. I couldn't have let them work out better myself, even if I tried. So everything worked out for the best. Transitioning into full-time fighting, I can feel the difference. I've been doing it for a year now in August. Yeah, we're in August now, so it's a year that I've left my job and did MMA full-time, and I can feel the improvements. I can see it myself. I can hear everyone telling me I'm looking better, I'm looking sharper, and that's just so much more motivating to me, and I feel I wouldn't have been able to do that if I still had a job. So coming back to how it is to be a full-time fighter, it's quite awesome to be able to train the whole day and you do what you love and get paid for it. But there's obviously the downside to having a sore body all the time. So,
Of course.
but that's the only downside to it for me. The rest is like I'm truly living the dream. It's really a blessing to be able to do it.
Yeah. Oh, and we say that quite a lot at training as well. Is like we have the coolest job in the world.
Yeah, for
is
sure.
Getting to train, getting to train every single day, improve on what we've learned, and also, I think the team that we have makes that easy as well because
Yes.
it's all these like-minded people. Most of them, they have side hustles after training.
Yes.
They go do something else. They keep themselves busy, and also that financial security is also a massive thing because, especially in South Africa, you do not get paid crazy amounts of money to compete.
Yes, for
and
sure.
you can for sure not make a living just off fight purse. And you have to have sponsors, or you have to have side businesses or hustles or whatever
Yes,
you want to call
definitely.
that. So it is a brave thing to go and say, okay, we're gonna do this full time, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And how was the reaction of your family and friends, and especially your fiance? You're getting married as well,
Yes,
so
yes.
that's also another challenge.
Yeah, so friends, what can friends really do in such a situation just as to give their support, you know? So you can see doubt in some of them, but all in all, it's working out for the best. So they are
Yeah.
all happy for me. My mother, family, they support me. They I don't know, the support is really great from their side as well.
Yeah.
And then the biggest supporter I have is my fiance, obviously. Shout out to Leanne. I was down in the dumps. I had negative thoughts in my head. I was really not going down a good road. And she just kept me on the road, kept me straight, kept my mind straight, like she's always been doing. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have been able to go through with the fighting still after everything that happened. So yeah, I'm truly blessed to have people that believe in me, believe in my talents and my dreams, and support me 100%. So yeah, truly just blessed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you also see that with, if you take famous examples, like Tyson Fury, Conor McGregor, all these guys that have achieved massive success, they always have that person as well.
Yes,
They
in the
have
corner.
that wife, that D Devlin,
Yes,
for Conor
yes.
was there when he had nothing. And I think having that emotional support and even just that person that you can reflect off of is super important, especially
Definitely.
for a full-time athlete who I can admit it, I'm not always in the best mood coming home after training.
Yeah.
And like you said, sore bodies, that has a massive impact on your emotional day to day
Definitely.
as well. So having that is super important, and that's really cool to hear as well. And it's always funny because when we ask people, well, when I ask people what do your family and friends think, it's almost always the same answer in terms of like, yeah, people are happy, but they're still skeptical.
Yeah.
And that's also one thing that I think I had, was that chip on my shoulder of like, okay, I'm gonna prove to you this is gonna work.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna make this work.
Yes.
So in a year or 2 years time, you might have been skeptical, but you're gonna choke on your words
For sure.
in a few years. So that's very cool to hear, and it's very cool to see, because obviously we watch you train. We we always make the jokes about those shocks you have in your calves, because you are the person at middleweight with the lightest feet I've ever seen. It's truly an art to watch you move, and I think a year of just focusing on that, you can see it paying off now.
Yes.
And I think you're still young. You're 25,
26.
26.
Turn 26 this
Okay.
weekend, yes.
No, yeah. So 26, you're still young. You're going into your physical prime only in, let's say, 3 years. So I think your timing is really perfect.
Yes,
And so how do you see your career play out going forward? Like, if you would have said, okay, ideally you want this, this, and this, what is that? What's that roadmap?
Win, man.
Okay. That is, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll have a couple of fights. I'll take the UFC middleweight title, and then just keep on defending it until I get a better opportunity, take the better opportunity, grow from there, until ultimately where everyone's working towards to go to the UFC and make waves there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always it's quite weird, because you also see a lot of these organizations now pay almost equally enough, like the same amounts of money. You see one, I just heard this morning that Roberto Soldic, the previous opponent to Dricus, has signed with one championship.
Oh, okay.
And you must think, like, they must have offered him a shit ton of money to go there instead of, because he had open offers with KSW to stay there.
Yes.
He had open offers with the UFC. So you can also see all these organizations, throw in the cash for these fighters.
Definitely.
But still on everyone's mind, and also rightfully so. If you are in the right mental space, you want to go to the best organization in the world, which is the UFC. Even if you don't get paid as much,
Definitely.
you still want to go test yourself against those guys. Now, who are some of the inspirations that you would say, who are the guys that have impacted your career going forward, and who are the guys that you like watching and studying?
Okay, so my biggest inspiration came from Anderson Silva.
Okay.
In his
choice.
prime, obviously.
Yes.
Still now, he's still good. No dissing you. I still respect you.
We know you watch it. We always make the same joke. We know you're watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was quite a big one. John Jones as well.
Yeah.
And then local boy, Dricus.
Yes.
I mean, I've been training with him for a while now. And just to see him grow and the things he's doing, and it's like a living person here next to me that's achieving these things, and that is motivation on a whole new level. So yeah, those are the top 3 guys that motivate me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yosha and I once did like a little segment where we were chatting about the guys that have really impacted the sport, and we got so many comments afterwards because we didn't mention Anderson Silva. That's like the only guy we forgot about, but a massive pioneer of the sport, and you can almost see your in your fighting style, being so light on your feet, almost having like that flow state in your striking, you can really see that you have adopted that from a guy like Anderson Silva, which is quite cool. And it's quite interesting to hear, like, if you hear the inspirations people have and then watch their fighting style, it's very closely very similar. So it's awesome. And at the moment, who do you like watching fight? Because if there's like, especially with the new guys coming up, there's so much talent, and the sport has evolved so much. Who would you say is your top 3 guys watching now?
So I didn't like Volkanovski.
Yes.
I was rooting all the way, all 3 fights.
Me
but
too.
After the 3rd fight, he's really levels above. So
Yeah.
I'd watch him any day. Then it's quite difficult because there's quite a few. But let's say Brandon Moreno is also up there for me.
Okay.
Just he's sleek, and I like his confidence and his personality. It's what attracts me to him. And then I would say Israel Adesanya, but lately he's been not performing the way that he says he would. Like, he hypes it up and then he doesn't perform like it. So he was up there, but yeah, if I have to choose one more, I'd say Derek Lewis. I love a good knockout,
that's
so.
a good. That's always a fun one.
And he also has a great personality. Yeah. So yeah,
that guy on the mic is so fun to listen
gold,
to.
man.
I love
He's
it when
gold.
it's fight week for Derek Lewis, because you're gonna guarantee see like tune journalists and tune this guy and tune KFC. And so it's always fun to watch. Yeah, that's very cool. Brandon Moreno, he fought this weekend. He fought Kai Kara France, and I was so in 2 minds. I was like, okay, you are so cool with dropping your hands and doing this with your head, but I was also like, oh man,
it's dangerous.
Like, keep your hands up, please, because I really wanted him to win. And he's an awesome guy to watch fight, and the way he finished Kai Kara this weekend was so impressive.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, and I really can't wait for them to make that rematch with Davidson.
Yes.
Figueiredo.
Me neither.
How do you see that fight play out?
Moreno will take it. I don't think it's going to go the distance. I think he's going to finish
him.
Yes, like he did in the first fight. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I think a submission victory for Moreno.
For sure.
Think that's gonna happen. So but I don't think Figueiredo is gonna make flyweight anymore.
Yeah, he's getting thick now.
He's a thick boy. So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that, but it's an exciting fight.
I think it's gonna be an awesome fight.
How has prepping? Okay, so you have an opponent.
Yes.
Do you have a date?
6 October.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. So you're not allowed to say opponent yet, but how has prep? Obviously, you've just fought. So how was the celebrations, and what did you guys do? And then obviously you are back in the gym training. So how has the start of your prep gone?
So celebrations was awesome, like always. All of the people who supports me was there. We all celebrated together, so it was quite awesome. Then I got sick the week after that. I actually wanted to get back to the gym, so I had to get meds and I had to take another week off, but maybe it was meant for the best, I'm only fighting in October, so still a lot of time. And then this weekend with my birthday, it was obviously still a little bit of celebration time, so
Obviously, so you kept the momentum going.
I had to. So back at the gym again. Preparation thus far has been going good. No injuries that I know of. So I think we're just gonna push hard. We're gonna pick up as we go, and I'm excited for the next one. So.
Okay. So October again, would you like to squeeze in maybe one more before the end of the year, or do you think you'll cap it at your October fight?
Yeah, so I've been planning to fight 3 times this year. So I actually wanted to fight September, but they said the card is already full. So they moved me to October. So if I don't get injured in October, then definitely I'll do December again.
Well, if your fight goes like it went now,
Yeah.
you'll be able to fight October, November,
Yeah.
December. So
All 3 of them.
yeah.
So I'm planning to do one more after October, but we'll see what happens with the body.
Yeah. I think it's very our coach actually chatted to us about that this morning. Is a big problem that I think a lot of people run into as a team, or the guys that are super active, is injury prevention, and then also just maintaining camp without getting
Injuries.
sick or getting injured. And it's such a fine line. I think, like, out of my experience, sometimes I get busy, training, just after training, rushing to meet this person or chat that or do this work or
Busy
admin,
life.
and then it's 4 o'clock and I've missed a meal.
Yes.
And if you miss a meal, now you already feel like, I feel already sick.
Yeah.
I feel drained, obviously. So it's such a fine line between getting all your work done, but also just looking after yourself and making sure
nutrition.
that you're strong enough for the next session.
Definitely.
So being a full-time athlete, do you think you've almost gotten that process under control, or do you think it's still a battle to maintain that, basically?
Yeah, so I sort of have it under control 95% of the time.
Yeah.
I get really, really angry at people around me if I don't. I know this is my meal time, so if I don't get my meal,
Yeah.
I will go home and get my meal, or I will make a plan.
Yeah.
Because I know it's important.
Yeah.
But then again, with mobility and stuff like that, that is my 5% where I slip a bit. So because of time, like you said, you have stuff to do. So yeah.
It's quite scary if you had to have like a to-do list of the supplements. Okay, let's say breakfast, the supplements that you have to take with your breakfast, the mobility sessions, the warm-ups, the stretching, the training, after training, the cool down, the admin afterwards, hustling, working, all that things. You have quite a shopping list of things that you have to tick off. For
sure.
And it's quite easy to miss one.
Yeah.
If you get busy, or if life happens, it's very easy to miss one. So I think the guys that do the best are the ones that have that system in control. But it's also so hard,
Definitely.
if you sit in traffic, then your lunchtime is
Exactly.
So it's in your spare time. Do you focus a lot on recovery? Do you work? What do you keep yourself busy with now?
So in my spare time, I love reading.
Yeah.
And then I have a few business ventures with one of my friends. We are actually planning to open another business next year. So yeah, just like you said, side hustling, reading, and just relaxing, recovering for the next session. So
very cool. What are you reading at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm reading Heavenly Man.
Okay.
So it's a book recommended by my fiance.
Yeah.
But that's not really the type of books that I read constantly. I'm actually I love the books that, like, self-help books, like for instance, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. There's so much of those books, and I made a birthday wish list, obviously, so I got a lot of books now for
awesome.
birthday.
That is a very cool gift idea as well. I never know what to ask for with my birthday. I always ask for clothes or shoes or something, but I think books are, because I don't want to spend money on books. I would rather have other people spend money on books for me. That's a great idea.
And knowledge is key. I mean, especially if you look at not only the financial aspect of it, but like life in general. If you look at books like David Coggan's Can't Hurt Me, Kobe Bryant's Relentless, those books are really empowering. So it's awesome books to read.
I've been looking for the Can't Hurt Me book for probably 6 weeks now. I've been looking at every bookstore because I want my own one as well. I want to keep
sold
it.
out. They need it on order.
Exactly. And then they say, we can import it for you. It's going to be like 840 rand without import tax. Then I'm like, oh man, do you have an audio book? So that's definitely one of the books that are on my to-do list when I'm finished. At this moment, I'm reading Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight book. The founder of Nike.
Oh, nice.
Nike. I don't know, Nike or Nike.
Yeah.
But a very interesting book. And I also, before reading it, I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna get a lot of like type of financial and business advice out of this. And then going through the book, it's a lot more personality orientated. Well, for me, that's what I
Take from
am
it.
taking it from it, is how he's working with his workers or co-workers, or with the guys that he got in trouble with and stuff. So I always, it's interesting because you think you're going to get something out of a book, and then you
You
also
get
gain
something
all
different.
this other knowledge as well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And a book I always recommend to people is Rise of the Superman. Is like it's all about the flow state that you enter.
Rise of the Superman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very interesting to see. It's all these extreme sport guys achieving crazy goals when doing backflips on a skateboard wasn't a thing, and now the moment the first guy does it,
Everyone
11
does it.
of them
Yes.
did it that next week.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like that. So it was really cool to, and now in training, to identify that flow state, because that's something also, like even in today's training session, everyone is dead tired, but you almost go into that flow state, which
Automatic.
is so cool. And then I was like, yeah, I read that book, this is what's happening now. It's so cool.
Sure.
So like you say, knowledge is key, and it's such a big part of becoming a better athlete as well. And
Then as well, I'd like also to recommend a book like Atomic Habits, Atomic Habits especially, because it shows you the root of how your habit is created and how to actually change it into a good habit.
Okay.
And forming good habits is obviously the key to achieving good things. So if you have bad habits, you won't get greatness.
Yeah.
Well, you might, but it will take a lot longer than if you have the habits in place and it's
That's
just
it.
automatically working, and
that's also Atomic Habits.
Atomic
I'm gonna
Habits.
definitely remember that. It's well, that's something that you created by leaving your job, is creating a habit of going to training, focusing on that, focusing on recovery. And sometimes you have to block certain parts of your life out, like also with fight prep, you'll realize like 2-3 weeks out nothing else matters, because you get so tunnel visioned on that goal.
Definitely.
That it's super important. So you might not message people back, or you might not see family or friends, and sometimes that's the price you're going to have to pay for achieving success in that sport. Or I see that with our Little Legends program. Like, I don't answer parents as quickly as I usually do, but then I'm like, I'm busy. So it's creating those habits, and then focusing on the goal at hand. And I think that's why full-time fighters just do so much better, is because they are so obsessed.
Yes, focused.
And that is very, very cool. So we're going to quickly take a small break, and then we'll be back because we have UFC Fight Night. I can't remember which Fight Night number, but we have that, and we're going to chat about our picks and also our betting favorites. So stay tuned. Hey guys, we are back, and this weekend we have UFC Santos versus Heel. So I'm pretty excited for this fight. I love Thiago Santos. He had an amazing fight with John Jones, where I thought like John Jones could have lost that fight, and I think he did that with a compromised knee as well. I think he tore ACL or MCL or something like that, and he's fighting Jamal Hill, who is quite scary at the moment. I think he had that almost cartoon style knockout over Johnny Walker.
Oh yes.
So that was a crazy fight. Who do you like? What do you think? How do you think that plays out?
So I'm going with Jamal Hill,
Okay.
because after the Jones fight with Santos, it was as if he started to deteriorate.
Yes.
Obviously he fought top competition, but I just felt he was perfect in that fight, and after that fight it's as if he just went downhill. So I think Hill is an up and comer, so I think he's gonna take it.
Yeah, for sure. I think also, and it's quite weird, you see that with a lot of athletes, that happens. They have like this career defining fight, and a lot of the cases they do not come back from that.
Yes.
You know, like you see that with Gustafsson as well.
Definitely.
You see him, unfortunately, and it's sad to see, but you see him being super compromised after, you know, okay, being off for very long, but also just going through these wars that
Sure.
are quite taxing on the body.
Exactly.
Thiago Santos is just a massive, like he's a very big human.
Yeah.
I think he's a very big light heavyweight as well, where I don't think Jamal Hill is as big.
Yes,
I know
no.
he's like a tall guy, but size-wise, that's the only thing where I can see Santos, if he uses his wrestling maybe a little bit better, stays on top of him. It is a 5-round fight as well, so
Yeah, that's
that
the
makes
other
it
thing.
interesting. So if you can apply that weight and maybe finish him on the ground, because Santos, I do believe, has superior grappling to Jamal Hill.
Yes.
But that's also the thing. Every round is starting on the feet, so
Yeah, it's to get him down. That's
yeah.
the
Jamal Hill is super explosive,
Yeah.
and he closes the gap very well. So
and he
I don't
tries to
know.
take your head off. So
yeah, that's also the thing. His intent is quite impressive. I also do think I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill. We have this betting platform, MMA Play 365. So
Okay.
they actually do statistics where they take like I think over 200 variables and then they cross match them to check who they think is going to
Okay.
win. So let me actually just quickly check to see what their stats. Hopefully their stats are already out. And then next we have Sensei Luque, which is an awesome guy to watch fight, and Jeff Neal.
yeah.
How do you think that happens? What?
It's tough, man, because some nights Luque shows up.
Yeah.
And some nights he still fights good, but it's as if he doesn't show up. And Geoff Neal, I feel he's a good up-and-comer. So
Yeah.
if I put money on it, I don't know, maybe Vicente Luque.
Is it? Yeah.
I
I think Luque is very underrated. I
Yes.
think people forget how good he is, but it's
'Cause
very true. He is quite inconsistent.
And he fought top competition, so I
Yeah.
mean, he's been through the paces. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's a cool fight. I think stand up wise, I think I'll give it more to Neil because I think he just has a lot more power.
Mm-hmm.
But I think literally the rest of the game, I think gets dominated by Luque just because he's so technical.
Yeah.
And I think his grappling and his control is superior. But again, fights always start on the feet. So it's so hard. I'm trying to log in here to check. Okay, so I'm in. Let's check to see what the AI system says. But I've used this a few times. It has helped me quite a lot. But also, I've found myself bet with my heart way too many times.
Yes,
Like the Max
sure.
Holloway and Volkanovski fight.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, man. So I'm going to start diverting more to doing it right
Yes.
and going for the guys. I don't think their stuff is up yet. Let me check. I think it goes up at like a Wednesday, Thursday type of. Let's see.
Do you usually bet multiples or single fights?
Sometimes single fights. Not a lot though. Most of the times it's a multiple, and then I get one wrong.
Okay.
Like a 5 out of 6, and then I'm like,
Usually happens.
It sucks. It really sucks. But what I do quite a lot, which is a fun one, is predicting if the fight is going to go the distance or not.
Oh, okay.
And then multiplying on that, and that works quite well, especially with these stats. Now their stats are live, which is great. I'm just looking for that specific one. Let's check. Brian Battle is also fighting, that guy from The Ultimate Fighter. I think I like him quite a lot. Okay, so Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal. So stat-wise, it's super close.
Okay.
It's 49.46% to Luque and 50.54% to Jeff Neal.
That's a close fight.
So that's one of the fights I will not bet on.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely not put that in a parlay. That's one of the fights where I'll bet with my heart. Then go with Luque just because I like him. So, and then Thiago Santos, Jamal Hill. Whoa. Okay, so Thiago Santos is a 34.2%.
Sure.
And Jamal Hill 65.8. So maybe these stat guys know something we don't.
I wonder why, because like I think Thiago is more experienced than Hill, so he has
Much
a lot
more.
more fights.
I think he has 3 times the fights of
Yeah.
Jamal Hill.
So I don't know how they get those stats, but
Yeah, that is quite crazy. Well, we'll get to see if the stats. I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill after seeing these stats as well, and I'll probably watch a lot of their past fights,
Yes.
Especially like their last 2 or 3 fights, because that will give you like a very good idea of where they're at. But after seeing that, that's quite shocking. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be like 55-45.
And I actually thought they were going to give it to Santos.
Really?
So,
Did you think so?
Just because of the fight experience. you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they know, maybe he got injured or something leaked about being sick or I have no idea, but quite interesting stats.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to watch the rest of the card as well and then try and do a few parlays.
Yeah, for sure.
To strike some
No,
luck.
you have to try.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. You're not going to win money if you don't try.
Exactly.
Now, I want to chat to you lastly about... So we had a birthday party at CIT
Okay.
for like 11 or 12 7-year-olds. And I was very excited because I was like, okay, the training part of the whole class was done. So I was like, I'm going to show you guys some fights.
Okay.
And these kids don't know fighting. So they watch like Ninja Kids on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
So they don't know actual fighting. And that's why the parents wanted them to be educated, stay active and have a fun day, eat cake afterwards.
Nice.
And, but I was like, okay, what fights am I going to show them? Obviously they're 7. So you can't show them like Max Holloway versus Calvin Cater. I asked the little boy's mom. I was like, can I show them this fight? And she's like, no. Don't show them that. So I showed them Calvin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya.
Oh, wow. What a fight.
What a fight. And then I also showed them a quite recent fight. That Schnell, Matthew Schnell, I think. He fought a Korean. But when I say one of the greatest comebacks ever in a fight, he got rocked maybe 5-6 times.
Sure.
And he came back in the 3rd round and he finished the guy with a triangle.
Wow, yeah, that's
amazing
dedication.
And these kids were like, this is the coolest thing ever. But the parents were like, what?
No.
Don't show them this.
It's violence.
So if you need to convert someone into a fight fan, what would you say? What are the fights you are showing them?
Okay, we're not talking about small children.
No.
Okay. Okay, cool.
No, we're not. No.
Okay, so definitely Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
That was just an absolute war.
Yeah.
John Jones, Gustafsson won. Wow,
Crazy.
what a crazy fight.
Yeah.
And then just for the cool tricks and everything that goes with it, Anderson Silva and Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
I really thought when he landed that flying knee and he knocked... I thought Michael Bisping is knocked out, so he started celebrating.
Yes.
But then they said, no, the fight's not over. So,
Yeah.
And Michael actually took the belt. So definitely those 3 fights.
Awesome picks.
Yeah.
Very great. I'm quite offended that you didn't take a small weight fight as well. but obviously you are a middleweight. You're going to pick all the heavier weights. That's very cool. Yeah, it's
actually, sorry, just to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'd actually also show them Wei Li and Joanna
Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah.
That is a crazy fight.
Jeez,
That's a great
especially
answer as well.
just like to show them what females can actually do as well.
Yes.
It's crazy, man. It's really...
That's great. I think you'll scare a lot of... If you have to show it to other women, I think you'll scare them.
Yeah, no.
But that is a great fight.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a war.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And just to educate some people, because a lot of guys think a woman can't fight, I'll overpower her. But
Yes.
if you step in against Valentina or
Yes.
Wei Li or...
Imagine how sore, like Valentina, and I've said it on the podcast before, but she looks like such a hard
Yeah.
person. So
Very
she looks
tough,
like
man.
she looks so tough. It looks like if you hit her, it will hurt for yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
like one of those Muay Thai.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
It must
she
be
looks
quite
really tough.
embarrassing going to Tiger Muay Thai. Imagine okay, you're a student, you're 22, you thought no, you're gonna go on holiday and go train Muay Thai,
Yeah.
and then they pair you up. Hey,
Yeah,
go with
yeah,
her.
no, that's the. I wouldn't want to be paired up with her.
Yeah, then you go back home, drink, because you're sad because you got your ass kicked by her.
Luckily, no one was there to witness it. So.
yeah, just all the other athletes. Yeah, that is a great fight. I think if you have to show fight fans, especially, you want to show them like those fights,
Yes,
which
yes.
is
Where
quite
all of the heart comes out, you
Yes.
know, where they have to dig deep to actually get the win.
yeah,
So,
and
no,
that is
that's-
very cool. And you always, obviously, you wish that you always have fast finishes like you had.
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
for sure.
perfect ending.
For sure.
But I think you always have to train with the mentality of, okay, the day is gonna come where
We're gonna go
we're
5
gonna
rounds.
go to deep waters,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to be ready for that.
Definitely.
And I think that's what that's something our team does exceptionally well.
Yes, no, for sure.
Like,
We're ready
Coach-
for any war.
yeah, coach does not give us a session where we do not go to deep waters.
Yes,
And I
nah.
think that makes it easy going into the fight.
Yes,
So-
we don't play around.
yeah, we don't play around. Daar nie moet
Ja.
speel die rol nie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
onto the show. I really do appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, I have a good idea of who you are fighting in October, but I can't wait for us to share that for the rest of the fight fans,
Yeah.
UFC fans, and fight fans, and fans of you, fans of the team. And best of luck going forward. Hopefully, you can squeeze in 2 more fights this year.
Yes, let's hope.
That would be great. And the middleweights better watch out, because Jaco Du Plessis is coming to
Yeah,
take
boy,
all the belts.
for
And,
sure.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you evolve. And you can already see it in this year that you've transitioned into a full-time athlete. It's scary how
Thanks,
good
man.
you've gotten.
I
So,
really appreciate the
yeah.
kind words. Thanks for having me. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to go follow Jaco, all these links will be in the description below if you're watching it on YouTube. Thank you guys again. If you want to watch this episode or just listen to the audio version of this, we'll have a link tree. We'll have all the links in the description below. Thanks so much for joining. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, thanks.
Flipping cool.